involved. Americans or European countries, if they want to do the same as what China has been doing, the beneficiary will be the Africans.
Okay.
More roles are needed in Africa rather than less roles.
Okay.
That's the key point.
Victor, Gabriela has been wanting to get in on this point. Go ahead, Gabriela.
Yeah, you're saying what they're doing to the Africans is what should be done by every country. But according to what I know, most of the Africans went in for quarantine for 14 days. And when the 14 days were over, they gave them another 14 days. And they didn't do this for the Chinese people. Why? I feel like that's not something. If we're all equal and at the same level, then we should all be going through the same processes. You see what I'm saying? I feel like it's not the same thing. When we are being given extra and extra things, that we're being tested twice, we're quarantined twice. It's not.
So, Gabriela, what do you see your future as there?
Here, I'm hoping like in a month or so, we're able to access all these things. Because right now we actually have to apply for the health code. But to get that, they need to monitor you for 14 days to make sure that you're not sick, so that they can be able to let you go out in the public and use all the banks and the supermarkets. Otherwise, I'm hoping to graduate next year and go back home. I've lived here for 5 years and this has been fun, but it's good to go back home as well.
Well, hopefully you will graduate and then we can have you back on and call you Dr. Gabriela. Thank you to all of our guests, Victor Gal, Gabriela Dillon, and Keith Richburg.
April, a couple of people dressed in the COVID-19 suits came to my house, and they asked me some questions. It took about 30 minutes. Asked me questions about my travel history and anything that I've been doing in the past year since I've been here for 2 years, but in the past year that I've been in Guangzhou. And after the questions, then they took the test. So they put the swab on my throat, inside my mouth. And I was told that if the tests are negative, they will not call me the next day. But if the tests are positive, they will call me the next day. They did not call me, but however, I was told an hour after by my landlord that I need to move out of the apartment regardless of my results. Because the community and the police do not want foreigners in the neighborhood. I was told that I will move out after I serve my 14 days quarantine, but on Wednesday, I think it was the 8th, I was told that the next morning they will come and pick me up to put me at a hotel on my expense, and self-catering to do my 14-day quarantine, which was actually the day that most Africans were actually put under quarantine in Guangzhou, and now it's also in the neighboring cities as well.
Yeah. From where you are, is this behavior just towards South Africans or towards Africans in general, from what you have seen?
From what I have seen, on Sunday and Monday, when we were talking, it was just South Africans as far as being tested that I know of. But eventually, a few friends of mine that I know that are not South African but African did come out as well, saying they got tested too. And some of them are at the hotel as well, doing the quarantine at the hotel as well. But some of them, they're doing it at home, their homes.
So you've been told to get out of your apartment. You've been put into a hotel. You said that is at your own expense. Is that correct?
Yes.
So how are you coping?
That's correct.
How are you coping? Obviously, you did not budget for what has now taken place. And are there any other South Africans there or other colleagues from other parts of the African continent with you at that hotel?
Yeah, but we don't get to see each other because you cannot open your hotel room. The only time you open your hotel room is when they come in to do the test. They come twice a day for temperature check, and yesterday they did the COVID-19 test again on me.
And all this time you tested negative. I mean, what was the landlord's decision for throwing you out?
As she stated on the text that she sent me, it was that the police and the community do not want foreigners in the neighborhood that I'm living. My neighbors are Russian. They did not get tested, but they were also told to move out, but they did not get tested, and so did not my colleagues who are from the United States and from Europe. They did not get tested, and they're currently not under quarantine.
There are some reports and also visuals that we've seen here in South Africa. I'm not sure if you could confirm or deny any of what we've seen in terms of the picture that is being painted. We've seen some visuals on social media, some videos of, some Nigerian nationals and others as well, whose suitcases are basically in the street and they have nowhere to go. Do you know of any individuals who are stuck and have absolutely nowhere to go?
Yes, I do.
And what's the situation there?
Most of them are under the bridge in a place that we call Sangwenli, but they are getting help from other Africans, giving them food, giving them blankets, and some of the other Chinese with good hearts, they are helping them as well. But now that most Africans that I know of, are under lockdown, under quarantine, I don't know what's happening to the ones that are under the bridge.
So, in the discussions that you've been having, have you managed to get hold of the authorities, South African authorities? Have you had any feedback? Has anyone contacted you? We know that the Department of International Relations here in South Africa is aware of these allegations that are being made.
We did get an email that we can send to the DECO for all issues, situations, so we did that. Some people have gotten some calls to confirm their stories. However, I haven't received any call or any confirmation or any response as yet.
So any indication from there where you will go to if you're still going to have a job? I know those are some of the concerns that were raised by some of these South Africans who are finding themselves in a similar situation to you.
It is very difficult because when my quarantine ends, I honestly